Like, for example, I'm really shit at accounting. I am like really, really bad at it. If like,
who isn't though? Honestly, like numbers and the whole lot.
It's really shit. I
Invoicing
am
the whole
beyond
lot.
shit. Beyond shit. Like, and in the same way, I literally sent my invoices yesterday. And I hadn't sent them in a month. But there's been times that I've gone 3 months without sending invoices, and I'm like, holy shit!
Like for me, it's like 7 days. Like I make sure I get paid.
No, I have to go through my like social media and be like, where did I play on this date? Did I play here? I probably am owed lots of money because I'm so shitty at keeping up to date.
That's one of the things that's the problem with the DJing as well, right? It's a sole contracting. So unless you keep up with it, how do you know?
No, but like,
to an extent, but
yeah, but also don't message in 14 days and be like, oh, I sent you an invoice. That venue has bills, dude.
Exactly,
like, nobody, your top priority is getting paid. Their top priority
is making sure they can survive.
Sure that this one DJ gets paid. It's making sure that they've got, their marketing done, their security thing. You don't know what the insides and the outsides of the issues that they're having. They've got, like their bar staff, they're like, their actual bar. Maybe they've got like the shit's breaking down. Like there's tons of stuff.
Just as a rebuttal though, wouldn't it be better? Like, I mean, if you did send it in, then it would still get slotted at the bottom. Because like, say,
send your invoices, yeah, but like, don't message the venue or the promoter within 14 days and be like, hey,
where's my money?
Like a perfect example, right? When I had Thirsty, the wall fell down. The building literally, like a part of the building collapsed.
Yep.
I had one DJ who was like,
are we able to talk about this? Like what
we
venue?
Can talk about it.
What venue was it?
I won't say the venue.
Okay. All right. That's fine.
Thirsty, it was the Thirsty takeover. It made the news. And because the venue, one of the walls fell down. And I had a DJ that was like, oh, hey, yeah, but like you owe me $200. And I was like,
what?
No worries. The building's collapsed.
Yeah.
I have 30 staff that work for me that I need to now try and rehome because they've got bills to pay and they've got rent. It's not their fault that the wall collapsed and we weren't told anything.
Wouldn't that fall under insurance and the whole lot? Because that's what I kind of thought when I saw that happen. It's like, well, I guess they're getting a big payout because it's an old building. No.
I can't comment.
No, that's all right.
But there was no payout, and so
you know what? I'm not surprised with the way insurance companies work.
Yeah,
they'll find any reason.
No, it wasn't an insurance company.
No,
of
course it was.
It was a stupider mistake than that.
Right.
Yeah. That young owners made, and
young owners. Okay.
The owners of Library are younger than we are. They're really young. They're just very cashed up. But
damn.
Anyway.
Is that the new owners or the old?
Venue.
No, we'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
No.
Anyway.
Sorry.
So, like, there's so many things going on. Like, all these, I don't know when I have a job. I don't know when I'm going back to work. I don't know what's happening. And I had this one kid who kept hitting me up for $200. And he was like, I've got bills to pay. And I'm like, you don't know about bills, dude. Like, I understand that you've been paid, but you need to be a little bit sensitive into the fact that not only has a wall fallen down and collapsed, 30 people have lost their jobs. We don't know when we're going back to work. The accountant has other things to worry about than like, and I'm telling you right now, nobody got paid for quite a while because the wall fell down. There was a collapsion. That DJ then got other DJs to send me abusive messages. That DJ made Facebook statuses about my event and saying that like, oh, like wish we gotten paid. When this DJ had been in the scene for a fucking hot minute. This DJ has also DJ'd for me for free because he insisted on DJing at the events that he wanted to. And I was like, dude, I'm sorry, you're just not good enough. And he was like, no worries, I'll do it for free.
That is so bullshit. That sounds like Soundwave.
And he's also bringing down other DJs' pay rates because you're saying that you're going to offer a service for free, but these other DJs are chasing $100 an hour.
You should call this
guy out.
Nah,
I mean, no, I don't.
Not live.
But the thing is,
the
thing is, like from that moment, right? So I had to message another promoter, and I was just like, hey, I know that you also booked this guy. Can you please just give him a fucking clue?
Yeah.
Because this is so not only disrespectful. Bad timing.
Yeah,
read the room. A fucking tragedy has just happened.
Yeah.
Like, this is insane. And he did. And like, I'm really, so like massive shout out to Frank Macri who runs Respawn because he was so lovely about it. But it blew my mind. And then I had this guy then got other DJs to send me abusive messages. And I was like, for one, I'm not the one paying you.
Yeah.
It's the venue and it's like the accountant, like
it's up to them.
And it's also not my fault that the wall fell down. Anyway, so months go by, this guy gets paid. And then he comes to, when I was playing at Coconut Grove, and
He rocks up to your venue.
So he was friends with the other DJ that was taking over from me. Or not friends, but just, rocking up. And And then he stands in the booth and I was just like, you're all talk on Facebook, mate. Like, are you not going to A, acknowledge me, or B, like, address anything?
Yeah.
And like, I just went in on him because I have no fear.
Good.
I have no fear. Like, if
that's good though.
but it's
fuck
like,
that
get
dude.
a fucking clue.
Yeah.
He then messaged me, to be fair, a day later, or it might have been a couple of days later, and he's just like, look, Katie, I'm really sorry. I just want to apologize.
Good.
Too bad. You've already been a fucking idiot.
That's it. He burned his bridges.
You've made Facebook statuses. And because I was very honest with what was happening. Like, I was like, dude, I'm not paying you. I understand that you played for my brand, but I'm not the one who pays you. So please be fucking, like, sensitive and respectful for the fact that, like, yes, I want you to get paid. That's 100% the end game, and you deserve to get paid for the service that you did. That's not the issue. But there's a way to go about it.
Exactly.
And if a building has collapsed, but in the same way, I had people commenting and dragging me and being like, oh, she can afford to get strippers and cupcakes, but she can't afford to fix a fucking wall.
No,
Why is the wall my problem?
That's it.
The wall is not the fucking promoter's problem. The wall is the fucking venue's problem.
That's it. 100%.
Like,
yeah.
it blew my fucking mind. And then I
Yeah.
had like this, they were like a separate promoter that used to be at the venue, and they were pissed that Thirsty took over. And it's like, for one, they like dragged me and they were like, oh, she's a drug addict and she's a meth addict. And it's like, what?
Yeah,
like,
what the fuck?
If you're going to come for me, come with a relevant insult. And that's the other thing. Don't talk shit. Like, if you're going to come for me, be able to back up what the fuck you're saying. Because I can guarantee you that I've never done, like, I'm not that person. And I feel like I'm pretty well known for not being that fucking person. So...
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
no one can blame him for the wall falling down.
No, that's exactly it.
it was like, you are making yourself sound dumb.
I was just about to say the exact same thing happened with the Flying Scotsman. And so, like,
Yeah.
so with the Flying Scotsman, right? So my uncle owns the place, right? And I had a dear friend who's
I heard you on your
yeah.
like in your other ones, saying, like, my uncle's place. But I didn't realize it was the Flying Scotsman.
So
Also,
basically,
you would know Demi.
of course, I do know Demi.
I love Demi.
I do know Demi actually. Me and her don't get along.
Oh.
she's a nice
Me
girl.
and Demi get along.
She-
We've been at many a kick-on together.
She's worked there. Used
I've
to
never
work
met
at.
Demi, so... Hi, Demi.
Cheers to
This is
Demi.
you.
Cheers to Demi, who's
Wait,
now
I wanna
working
do,
at
like,
the
the clink, but then I
Cardinia.
don't want to fuck up the mic.
That's all right. You'll be fine. Clink.
So one of those things though, where it's like people show their true colors. Unfortunately, sometimes we had a family
do.
friend, and it's so shit, right? Like, hear me out, right? When the floor fell down in Defectors Bar, right? Basically, what ended up happening was we had a news anchor who's a family friend of ours for about 20 years there with my uncle, right? And guess what happens?
What?
Holy shit, the floor's fallen down. I better start filming it. And guess what? I just had the first goss. I had the scoop on it. And he showed his true colors and just stopped hanging out with the guy. And the reason why we stopped hanging out with the guy is just straight up, it's like, you're an asshole. Like, your friend of 20 years, his floor's just fallen down. The whole building gets evacuated. Well, I better just try and make sure I get the good goss on it.
That's what I think the biggest thing in this industry is. Like,
It's just clicky.
it's like, I think what you've got to remember is, like, when you're coming up, there's always a down, and the higher that you are, the higher
Thank you, my
up
dear.
you are, the more down you're gonna fall.
Yeah.
That's natural. But when you're on your rise, just be mindful of the people that are not also rising, and just be nice to everybody, because you never know who you're going to interact with and who's going to be around, you know, or whose help you're going to need to ask for.
That's
You
it.
never know. So don't be, like, literally just be nice to everybody. And just because you're having a good time, it doesn't mean that can't end. It doesn't mean, like, for example, there was like a thing that happened a couple of years ago with a DJ who made a promo video, and because he had a day job that conflicted with that promo video, he kind of was dropped, but he kind of like disappeared for like a year.
Right.
And he was a great DJ, and like he's back in the scene now. But like when he was dropped from being the guy that could get you into the venue, and like he was like the it guy, and then this, you know, film clip literally made like the news because of what his day job was. And it's like, that fucking sucks for that guy, but it's
Yeah.
also like, where were your mates? Like, I really fucking hope that when he was the same people that were messaging him, hey, can you get me in? We're still messaging him when he wasn't at any venues.
Yeah, and that's where it sucks so much sometimes because like
Oh.
you can get to the top,
Yeah.
but when you get to the top, how many people really care that you're at the top?
You start looking
want you
around,
for
don't you?
They want you for your like perks.
Yeah.
That's it, and it's so unfortunate with that sometimes because it's
Yeah.
just you can see it happen. It's like the last couple of years, just watching just the way things can crumble to an extent.
Yeah.
But it's. I had a point with this, but yes, I forgot.
Now it's gone, has it?
It's gone. Yes.
We were talking about banks
It's
and
the
code,
one.
but I wanted to get.
Sorry, I didn't answer all your questions. You asked 3 and I answered 1.
Oh,
What were
shit.
the other 2? It was like the 3
shit.
best things to
Oh,
the 3
yeah, the
tips.
I
three.
remember.
Yeah, the 3
I remember
tips.
what I was going to say as well now.
For somebody starting event, wanting to throw their own event, for example, like me, for example, I'm going into my first event,
Ooh,
so
good luck, good
maybe
luck,
I can
good
learn
luck.
something off you tonight, Katie.
Just
Okay.
quickly before we dive into that, the thing I was going to say before I lost my mind, lost my train of thought because of the fucking wine, right?
Mm-hmm.
Lost my mind, fucking hell. The whole idea where it's like it should always be lend a helping hand, because the thing is like if
Always help people out.
that's it, because if you
And
lend.
don't dog people out for no fucking reason.
Of course, because if you lend a helping hand to someone who's just starting out, in 5 years they could be at the top of the fucking game.
Legit. And also, like, you talking shit about somebody, you don't know why they've made those choices.
That's it.
Like, at all. So it's like
It's all
they could
perspective.
there could be a very valid reason as to why they've made those choices. So, like, for example, I know I heard on one of your podcasts somebody spoke about one of my events.
Thank you for listening to them, by the way.
Thanks, guys. I watched
Nick's
them
in the
all
chat, by the way. He
yesterday. Oh, what
says
did Nick
hi.
say? Hi, Nick.
Yeah, he just says Katie love heart, and then he's
Oh.
replying to Grizzly about your 70s moustache, your creepy
Hello.
pedophile moustache.
Oh, bless Nick Thompson. And Georgia, who is my absolute favorite. Oh fuck, where was I going with this?
You
first
get-
one
I got
he
a
said
shout out.
was
It all
like,
went into my head.
know your
So the
weaknesses was
lending-
the first one.
yeah,
Knowing
lending
weaknesses,
and lending helping people
lending
helping
helping
hand.
hands. Fuck, no, it was going somewhere. What were we talking about before I got that attention?
We were talking about your company and running events
No.
and running
No,
it successfully. Not that
It's
one.
the one.
Oh my god, I know that when Jordan watches this, she'll know this pain because I'm literally all the time like my brain just turned off and I don't know what's happening. I'm having a stroke. Be nice to people. Talking about.
Georgia says you're my favorite too.
Oh.
Oh.
We're actually starting a duo.
Yeah.
Just so you guys know, it's going to be called like the Barbie and the Brats. Or like the
Barbie?
Barbie and the Bratz doll.
Yeah.
But I was so upset because I was like, you're clearly the Barbie. And I'm like the little like
I
slutty
keep
Bratz
forgetting.
doll.
Sorry,
It's
there
like-
was 2 Nicks. It was Nick Owen.
Oh,
that said hi.
Shout out to Endorse.
But Nick
my
Thompson's
heart.
also
Nick,
here.
I love you. Oh my god, Nick Owen, I love you, little Endorse. We also have a little duo thing.
Yeah.
Because we were just joking the other week because there was like a group of like DJs who'd been around for a while that were dogging out DJs who do mashups.
Yeah.
And I think Nick and I froth for mashups. So we're like, let's do a duo. We'll just be called mashups only. But yeah. Anyway, moving on.
Mashups definitely, but like, do you guys pre-record them or on the fly?
I love that people think I'm talented enough to know how to pre-record. I fucking do. And I don't even have cues. I
Really?
literally do everything. Yeah. I mean, I say like I literally do everything. Like I'm like, that's not my job. But literally I do not have a cue for anything, but I just know the music that I play.
That's that's the biggest thing, right? You have to know the music you
Yeah,
play.
because Georgia and I just recently started doing back-to-backs at Magnet on Wednesdays for studio, and we had like half an hour. And also one thing, like also just own up, like what I was talking about, own up to your faults. So I'm really lucky in terms of I learned how to play on like really good decks like CDJ, Nexus 2000, the like second ones, and they have like the lines for the wavelength, and a lot of the Capital Corp venues have the boxes, and it's like
Yeah.
the 2000s, but it's like because they only have the box wavelength.
The
And
old
every
school,
time
yeah.
I see them, I'm like, you little box bitches, like it kills me. And when I go, because it's just harder to
Can't you
for
change
me.
them though? By
Not
tapping
in
them?
those ones. No, not in those ones.
Maybe I
They
just haven't
own-
used because
they-
I know the Nexus 2s you can, but
Yeah, they can, and it's a dream. And who would prefer a little box? I don't know when they're like making the Nexuses.
I
and,
don't
like,
know.
their
Pioneer
headsets.
thought that was a great idea at some
They're
point, and
literally
it
like
just
in the office, like, you know what? Let's fuck the lines off.
yeah.
Let's do a fucking symbol. No, because you're like watching and like you're panicking. 'Cause you're like, fuck, I'm gonna miss it. And then they've got these little boxes racing, and you're like, I don't know who I am.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what's going on right now. Like, somebody just
I can just hear
bring back
Nick.
the lines.
I can just hear Nick in the corner screaming, "Use your ears!"
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll get there. It's all good.
Yeah.
Like, how long ago did you start DJing?
Well, that's the thing. I'm only a baby DJ, so
Yeah.
I've been learning how to DJ for like 5 years. And when I say learning, I mean like I did lessons here, and then a year later I was like, I want to be a DJ again. So then I did lessons here, but I started doing.
Sorry, Nick and Georgia both think that the boxes are better than the lines.
What?
I just think
I
pioneer
think
shit.
that's because though with Capital Corp they've like that's like their normal, and that's what they're used to, and that's what they've like grown up
Industry
with.
standard.
But like what I've grown up with is like the lines, so
Right.
that for me that's normal, because I'm sure if you learn on, and like now honestly, because I've been playing on them for like more so the last couple of weeks, it is getting easier for me.
Yeah.
But I remember rocking up to my first set and being like, what's with these little fellas? And because I just never seen decks like that, because I'm really spoon fed, and I'm really, really lucky that I've only played at venues that have like the Nexus 2s.
But see, that's where I have to admit just quickly, it's so ridiculous because it's like for a full set of Nexuses, it's $12,000, $10,000
Yeah, it's a lot.
second hand, right?
It's a lot.
And then you can go and buy a Native Instruments Tractor S4 Mark III for $1,200, and you can do what I do.
You
As long as you
fucking
have the lines,
jerk
I don't
off
really
you.
care what I'm playing on. Because I remember, like, I said this to, I literally sent a group chat to, like, Nick Thompson, Rovi, and somebody else, and I was like, institute me. Like, I don't know what's going on with these little box bitches. Like, I know, surely you can get rid of them. And they were all like, I remember Rovi coming up to me, and he's like, so the boxes have got to, like, they've got to go in line, and they've got to be friends, they've got to match up. And I was like, I know, but the problem is I don't like them. But, like, I'll be honest about it, and I'll, like,
They're not that accurate either, to be perfectly
I think
honest.
it's so hard
It's
because
Pioneer, it's old
I
shit.
reckon they just like go out.
It's
Like,
Pioneer,
they're
it's
just
all
like having
shit.
their own little party, and you're
Yeah.
like, guys, just hang out together.
There's more, Mitch.
But it's really like for me, it's difficult.
Yeah.
But I remember telling people that night, and then it got around the grapevine, and like literally 2 days later, somebody messaged me, and they were like, somebody said to me last night, they were like dogging you out and saying like, lol, did you know that KAYTYBANKS can't play without like the wavelength of being lines? And it's like, I was making fun of myself. Like I was owning that. Like
And
I'm not
therein
gonna-
lies the genius of KAYTYBANKS.
But own what you can do and you can't do. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not
But-
going to be like, I'm technically amazing, because I'm not. I just have really good song choice, and I've got really good marketing. Like,
The biggest thing about DJing, right? Because I have to admit, right? So market grounds, Friday nights are great, right? But Saturday nights they get like a rotation of DJs. I'm not mentioning names, but
aren't Saturday nights Motive?
no, maybe. So the thing is,
Hey,
though.
James. Please book me again.
Oh God, I hope he's not working. Not watching.
Are we still
so-
talking about Magna House? Just...
No, we're talking about
Market
Motif.
Grounds
Oh, okay,
and-
market
Mo-
grounds. Okay, I don't
Motif.
know anything about market
All right,
grounds. I'm
so
sorry.
look, if we're talking about Motif and you know James, all right,
Oh, I
I've
wouldn't say
messaged.
I know James.
Okay, all right.
If I
So-
was at a club, I'd probably say, I know James, get me in. And a
So,
barker, but I don't
there
know
are
him.
two DJs that have been working for them for a while now,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I'm not naming names. They're lovely people, right? But it's like 2 years ago, they didn't know what the fuck they were doing as well. But now they've progressed and they've learned and they've gotten to the point where they can play an alright set, right? I'm not naming names,
Mm-hmm.
but it's one of those things where you can't build Rome in a day. You can't be
and
Jimi
also-
Hendrix in a
But
day.
that's the thing, like, and I always joke about like playing before and after Rovi and Nick Thompson, because they're both really technically amazing. And it's you just can't beat them, so it's like, don't try. But for me, I'll market it and I'll be like, this is how I feel not playing before them, or like, lol, got fucked over this week, I'm playing before like these people.
Yep.
And I'll put it on my story, and I'll be like, this person literally annihilated me within the first 30 seconds of DJing. Like, and it's true, because generally one of them will take over from me at the Lookout, and I'm literally like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, wait till I've left and I'm in my Uber. Like,
After
there's
the-
no need to flex. I know that you're better than me.
I'm not gonna flex, but after this, I'll show you a few little tricks, right? Because I mean, I've got my everything set up just in there, right? The
Show you
whole.
what, Alex.
Teach me. Give me
I'm
a
not even
lesson.
gonna lie, like it's so fucking easy once you get your head around it. But it's just practice, though. That's all it is.
Well,
it's just practice. Like, but yeah, I don't know. I'm fucking tipsy off wine, but
Let it all out.
it's
Let
just.
it all out.
It's like I was showing Mitch the other day. All right, now I'm gonna let it all out.
Let it all out.
Okay,
I'm
Macintosh
excited.
420. You know that song, right?
Yes.
I sent you a fucking picture of it. Dua Lipa, fucking be the what's that song? The One?
I don't know, but what's the point?
My point is, if you know your music and you know your key and your music theory, DJing is piece of piss.
No,
And-
okay, yeah,
But you have to know the equipment. That's it's like painting.
It's different. It's difficult
You
to say though, because like Katie was saying, she's come from a different background.
Yeah.
And,
But that's what I mean. Like,
but I'm
it's
also really lucky in like that I've had not a lot of things handed for me because in my years of management,
Well, it's not that you've got a lot of friends that are also in the industry, so
yeah, but I
you've got a lot of
wouldn't say any of my
support that
friends
way.
give me anything. To be honest, I wouldn't say my friends give me shit. But like if anything, actually, my friends don't book me. Anyway, I hope you're thinking about that. But
By the
We're
way,
just sort of sitting here in like a little bit of disbelief.
Just quickly, Mitch, we're going half an hour over.
yeah.
We're going half an hour over tonight because we've got so much to talk about.
It's up to Katie at the end of the day.
I've got nothing but time.
I've got so much to let out.
Look, we've still got wine to drink, so
So
we've
I
got to
got-
keep going.
We got another.
Oh my god! By
As
the
long
way,
as there's wine in the bottle.
We got a wine rack inside, so
By
I'll
the
go get another
way,
bottle.
You guys were saying that this is your first wine episode.
Yep.
And I knew as soon as, because I was like, no, Nick
Hey.
Thompson's been on here, and I have to get him cab sab every
Whoa.
Friday.
You have to get him cab sab every
No,
Friday.
because he's whenever he takes over from me at Lookout on like if I play at Lookout, it's either
There's a little bit left, so I'll let you and Katie fight over
Ah.
the last
thanks
bit.
guys. Nick's very obvious in what he drinks. He will always have a bottle of cab sab, and George is like very similar. And it's just funny because usually also by this point I'm like messaging him and I'm like, I need a pee so bad, like please come, like please just like run from the car, like park the car, like please come, like don't talk to anyone, just come straight to the booth. And like I'll literally be peeing and I'll have like a message like, hey, can you get me a bottle of cab sab and like a can of mother? And I'm like, standard, like you know that the message is coming. Like, and also you need to have your like card to buy drinks over the bar, but like it's like, oh no, we know, like as soon as you say like, can I have a bottle of cab sav, they're like, Nick. And it's just like a known thing.
Yeah, it's just straight up. Yeah, it's going to Nick. Going to
Yeah.
main stage, mate. Now.
Well,
When I
I'm the
saw
same,
last
so
night-
if you ever feel generous enough, Katie, I'm just a red
Oh,
wine
this is
drinker.
not a bar
so-
card. This is not, I'm not shouting.
if only.
I'm not shouting anything.
If only.
Isn't there like
Walk up to your set. Can I have a bottle of red, please?
Can you just charge us?
isn't the
It's all right. It's all right. She'll sort it out later.
catchphrase for Barcella is can you get me in? Is that it?
Oh, I would say the catchphrase is this is hospitality, welcome home.
Right.
Yeah.
That's good though. That's a good
Where-
catchphrase.
Thank you.
Because I saw a lot of marketing with the can you let me in sort of tagline thing there. What were you going for with that? To trying to like
Is
just-
that not the most messaged thing that you've ever been?
Just before you
in
go
your
on to that,
inbox?
Mitch, how long did you wait in line for Magnet House the other night?
well, if we're going to do this story. like,
How long?
Did you not
I know
see-
Nick's in the chat
I
right
was gonna
now,
say,
and
did
I
you not
don't.
see his TikTok.
Yeah, I don't
Did you
blame
not
Nick
listen
because
to
I
his
understand like how busy it is, but like to be on the list and to wait for 2.5 hours feels really bad. It's the first time I've ever had to like wait in line for that long.
2.5 hours.
And it sounds like
Did
super
you wait
selfish.
for 2.5? No. It
I waited for 2.5
Because
hours.
I don't line up for anything. If I don't know somebody at the venue, I'm not lining up.
That's it. What's the point of?
Well, yeah,
lining up?
I come to Magnet House, you know, just to show my face, say hi to Nick and all the other. There's a lot of old EMAS members because Nick used to be president of EMAS and I used to be on the committee. So I feel like Capital is like the spot to go to if I want to like catch up with some EMAS friends, which I do go there occasionally. While I don't like the change in direction of the music per se, I know that it's not for me anymore. So
But that's the changing of the culture, though. It's the way things.
I worked with Nick. I only wish the best for anything that like Nick does.
I can't really talk too much about this because I have obviously been I went, as I was like saying to you guys beforehand, I went to Capital probably 3 times because I was working. So I didn't understand that much about what Capital was and all of the rest of it. So I only really know Magnet House.
Yep.
I know Amps is, I think Amps is still the same. I know Edison.
No, amps changed as well.
You
do
reckon?
Do you think that since you spend so much time at the venues that you work at, you do miss out on the rest of the Perth scene? Because
Yeah, for sure.
because the same thing to an extent as well. But
Yeah,
go on.
because you're working.
Yeah.
So like if I finish at like an alright time, like, and if I've got friends playing at other venues, I'll generally come. So like I used to play at Sweet and Sour for Tiger Lils, and Gabby Torrance used to play at Edison. And so on my breaks, I would come down and I would like run down to see Gabby because otherwise when am I going to see her? Because we're both working, we're both DJs.
Exactly. Yeah.
So
yeah.
it's literally like hey, can you get me in because I've got this amount of time. If you can't, that's fine.
Yeah.
But I've got to run to my next job. So that's where the whole like can you get me in thing came from. And also because hospitality is so entitled, we don't want to do anything. It's like, what? Lining up like a patron? Absolutely not.
I
mean,
like,
bar card,
do you
meet
know
me in the
who I
green
am?
room or the disabled toilet.
You don't realize how much it sucks until you're like in the line for 2.5 hours.
Disabled toilets. Holy shit.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to make that because in the video it says like meet me in the toilets, but I wanted to make it meet me in the disabled toilets. But I thought that people might not actually understand what the joke was there, and I didn't want people to think that I was like.
Yeah, insinuating something that
untasteful, like distasteful. So
the can you get me in thing I think is very like more relatable to people who don't usually get on the list. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because that is the 99% of people.
The average patron. Yeah.
Unless you go to those venues where just everybody's on the VIP list and the VIP list isn't the VIP list.
Well, yeah, but that's just marketing.
Yeah.
Because the thing at the end of the day is that everybody wants to feel important. So if you have a message from a venue saying, hey, I've got you on my VIP list, do you feel better or do you feel worse than the person that's lining up and has to pay?
Well, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, 100%.
That's the thing. Like, I get a lot of hate from the clubs that I started at, but it's like I can tell you exactly why we did everything that we did that way.
Yep.
And everybody is obviously welcome to their opinion, but make sure that it's educated and make sure that you understand why you're thinking that. And like, yeah, we had a ton of promo accounts, but do you know why? Because Facebook has a cutoff of 5,000, so we can only have 5,000 people per Facebook account. And when that's your full-time job and you're like racking up like I had like 12 accounts or something. I couldn't even tell you all of my last names that I had.
No
but
shit.
There's a reason why we did it that way, because it was successful and because it worked.
Yeah.
But if you can come up with me and say this is why I don't think it worked, then that's fine. But I can guarantee that I can tell you why you're wrong.
We see that with everyone though. Like pretty much everyone we've interviewed on here that's about marketing has their little tricks that they've tried, you know, and Facebook updates their shit and you can't do this anymore. So you have to do it like, because Nick was telling us about how he was working
really,
with
onto it.
replying bots on Facebook.
Yeah.
The chat bots, yeah.
Yeah, and that used to be really good at turning over like ticket sales and stuff like that. But now you can't use bots for a certain reason. I remember Nick explaining it obviously a lot better than I could.
I remember like running into Nick and all of like the Capital Corp DJs at Connections before I started working for Capital Corp, and Nick came up to me and he was just like, "Oh my god, you have a chat box in your like company logo. Like, can we talk about chat box?"
Yeah.
And I was like, I hate to tell you this, but I started Banks & Co with someone else who I no longer work with, and they were doing Chatbox and I wasn't. And he's like, "Oh, I just wanted to talk about Chatbox." And I was like, "I'm so sorry, I can't."
Yeah, Nick's all over that marketing stuff, almost a little bit too much.
No, but you have to be. You have to be.
Well, yeah.
It's like, and especially I think if you're like into marketing, you're like, please, it's like literally like wanking each other off and you're like, please tell me what you do. Like it's like you because it's your passion.
Yeah.
And I think that's the thing with marketing is if it's not your passion, then that's fine, but it's probably just not for you. In the same way as like promotions.
Yeah.
So you get a lot of like events and like,
because marketing can be quite cutthroat as well.
Yeah.
And it's probably why you take the business stance of like, I know what I want.
Yeah.
And I'll say what I want and I'll go for it.
Yeah.
And you've kind of just sort of got to put your blinders on to like who you step on the way, because that's just a part of doing business, I guess. That's the way it works in the system that we have.
That's the thing. It's not a personal attack. It's business.
Yep.
Yeah.
In the same way that when I launched Barcella, there was someone who also wanted to do an industry event, but I knew that I could do it better than him.
Yep.
And I had told him the year before, "You're more than welcome to try this, but I will annihilate you." And I'm being honest about it.
I love
my
that
events
quote.
may be better than you. Like, I'm sorry.
It's straight up a dog eat dog world. It's the business world.
But
That's
be
how
honest
business
about
works.
it. Be honest about it.
Yeah.
As long as you're like
That's the
upfront,
key
then
thing
that's
that
fine.
puts you above them. Like, well, not above them, but like, you know, in front of them, being honest, being straightforward, being polite, being
And nobody
nice,
can
and
attack
just
you
being
if you're
like,
honest as
bam.
well.
Exactly. You know what? You can't hurt anybody's feelings if you're being honest, because you're.
Well, I don't know about hurting people's feelings. Everybody has like a different like
Well, the thing
way
is,
they
though,
take
it's
stuff.
the
but
business world. If you hurt someone's feelings in business, well, they're not doing business right, because you shouldn't be hurting their feelings.
the way I see it is like, if you're honest, and even if your honesty is wrong, fundamentally wrong, at least you're honest. You know? They can't attack you for lying.
That's
for
exactly
starters.
it, because you're not lying. You're being upfront. But the thing, it's just business in general. It's just
It is.
how
It's
it
like
happens.
that. Like there was someone on your podcast who mentioned that they didn't like that I started an emo event. That's business. Like I saw an opening and I took it.
That's
And
it.
also, I am like, I know that I look basic, but I am passionate about that. And